tournament series, and this is the quarterfinals of that tournament. We have EG, the one, the only Evil Geniuses. They are taking on Ice. Kind of Ice, as you can see, they have a couple of ringers, at least for now. A solid team over there. The Emperor, a.k.a. Bryce, Bottle Up, who knows, Jaw, and then Kabop, of course, and then Swindle Melons. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It should be entertaining. Should be a hell of a match. You can kind of, according to the team names, you can call it a rematch of the DYA finals, of course, but yeah, really, it's not that. As you may have noticed, too, Semiju is actually, whether or not it is official, I mean, he is tagged up, so as far as official, I mean, that pretty much doesn't get any more official than that, so I'm going to go ahead and say it is official, as he is tagged up, part of EG, at least for this tournament, so that's kind of interesting news right there. Of course, he's playing in part of Dodo for this matchup here, but should be entertaining as always, but first things first, like I said, I'm joined by Phil the Thrill. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing really good and ready to get this underway. Over here, this kind of mixed team that we have over here on the Hellborn side is looking really interesting and really strong. Then again, I mean, Kabop and hasn't been, playing too long, but or at least back in Han as far as coming back is concerned. But definitely Kabop, Hani, seeing these guys teamed up with guys like Bryce and Jaw and Swindamelons, could be a very, very powerful team here. So looking forward to see what they have to bring to us, especially against a team with the caliber of EG.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, too, after DYA, Bryce did make it clear that some things were going to be happening, some changes were going to happen, and he was really interested to kind of form like what he referred to as an all-star team. So, and Bryce, as I personally think, and I'm sure this isn't just me, it's a general consensus, he is one of the best leaders out there in terms of his picks especially. I mean, he comes with some off-the-wall picks that really work. I mean, Electrician is obviously his popular one, but definitely we see many picks and whatnot from the teams that he is on as part being the leader, and it is very entertaining to watch a lot of the time. So with that said, let's get into the picking and banning phase. We see the first pick going out, but first things first, the bans. As far as those are concerned, we got Slither, Sandwraith, Soul Stealer, Bombardier, Bubbles, Thunderbringer, Magnus, and Puppet Master. Look at that ban, really kind of off the wall there. That was actually the first ban by Ice. Used their first ban on Puppet Master, so really interesting. I don't know if that's just some inside information that they had, expecting EG to maybe use them for this matchup, or just they don't want to have to go up against him for whatever reason. So curious about that ban right there. The other bans, really nothing too much to it, and you can go over the definitely, but the Magnus ban, obviously, really given reason, especially in this match, especially for EG. B-Kid, very, very good Magnus player. Then you got, of course, Sandwraith, who's just been really that hard carry lady that's been taking over the competitive scene, so no surprise. But your thoughts on the bans here, Phil?
Well, the Puppet Master does stand out a bit, as does Soul Stealer. I mean, I know that there, are definitely some proficient Soul Stealer players on both of these teams, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay. The one thing, though, that did happen was they did not ban Pharaoh, and he was first picked by EG. And with Thunderbringer off the board, that really is going to limit the options as far as, picking up those super amazing initiation. And speaking of amazing initiation, I mean, you're going to go over the Legion team here pretty soon, but some of the bans, they definitely left a lot of the heroes that normally you'd be like, oh, okay, well, we don't want to see them there. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, overall, it's a very good hero pool left, especially with 8 bans.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the first couple of pickups there for EG, as you're referring to. I mean, Dr. Repulsor and Pharaoh, both very, very ban-worthy heroes, especially in this matchup. Yet, they were picked up by EG. Again, though, confidence in Emperor, the Emperor, confidence in A.K. Bryce. He definitely knows what he's doing, so really interested to see how they go about their strategy as a result of these. Flint Beastwood, the next pick, so very, very solid team there on EG. Really nothing off the wall whatsoever. They're going with what works best, of course, and what would make sense with the picks out there. As they start with Pharaoh, Dr. Repulsor, and Flint Beastwood. Now Ice is going to follow this up. Of course, they got their support heroes taken care of in already Witch Slayer and Andromeda. Curious to see if we see something like an Electrician. It's always that's always put out there as a possibility whenever you have such a makeup. And hey, look at that, Electrician. Who would have thought? So Electrician and Chipper are the follow-up heroes there. Now in terms of their lanes, We'll see. Ice is not known necessarily to run the norm, to run the tri-lane strategy, so I would not be surprised whatsoever to see a 2-2-1, no really roaming style of strategy, a solo electrician even. Really curious to see how they play this. Chipper, of course, though, a very sound hero. In terms of their last pickup, they have options here. They could go with the hard carry hero. They tend to have electrician, though, play the carry status. They like to go for early games a lot of the time, don't necessarily go hard carry, so definitely options out there. Really interested to see how they finish it off. As far as EG goes, they follow up their first 3 picks with a Voodoo Jester and Myrmidon right there. So they finish it off with a couple supports, so kind of vice versa right there from Ice. And they are all set, ready to go. Expect to see a tri-lane. Of course, Voodoo Jester, Flint Beast, and Myrmidon. But, maybe not, because they look at Ice's lineup. What are they going to run? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But as expected, a very powerful lineup in EG side.
Here's the problem with EG side is, they picked up Pharaoh. You talked about the heroes that they picked up as far as being real strong. Well, the first 3 heroes that they picked up, as far as picking, Pharaoh is a solid pick. I don't care what lineup you're going for. If you have a well-coordinated team, Pharaoh is an amazing pick. On the other hand, picking up Dr. Repulsor and Flint Beastwood next really limits the amount of farm that other heroes can get while, during the course of the game. And because those heroes are, even though they have, Chu, I'm not saying Chu, but Dr. Repulsor has a good escape mechanism. He's very, very weak, and heroes like Electrician, who have very long disables, can really, you chain those together with the other heroes that they have here. Wow, picking up an 4 over here on the Hellborn side, but they definitely have the opportunity to lock some of these guys down. So Pharaoh is really the only hero they have that has that innate tankiness, and those support players, they had to pick those, as their last 2 heroes, really kind of kept them from picking, somebody who can take a lot of damage. So they have to be careful, because, if they get some of the burst damage off, you talk about Chipper, you talk about Witch Slayer, Electrician even, and if Andromeda decides to level up Comet instead of, going for the standard one into Comet and the max out Aurora and Dimensional Link, they definitely have the option or the opportunity to really bring the hurt to EG. So EG's got to be careful with how they do both 1, lane setups, and 2, make their way throughout the game. They have to be careful.
Yeah, they definitely do. I agree with that fully. Obviously, a hero like Dr. Repulsor, it's all about locking him down, really. And if the Hellborn team can accomplish that, and you look at the Hellborn setup, every hero has some type of a stun, obviously. So it's Dr. Repulsor, so might have some trouble in that sense. But Silence is definitely considered the more universal, or Hex even. And they do have the Hex, of course, with Witch Slayer. But Silence in general definitely considered to be the most powerful. They don't have that, but yeah, the stuns into the Hex. Dr. Repulsor, it is going to be somewhat difficult for him, I'm sure. But of course, the Shrunken Head will take care of a lot of those problems, at least for when he has it activated. And then Nullstone as well. We'll see what he chooses to go for. But now the Hellborn side. For Ice over there, let's go over their lineup. We went Electrician, Witch Slayer, Nymphora, Andromeda, and Chipper. So that's the 5-man roster over there. Again, they finished it off with Nymphora. They could have gone many routes, and like we suggested, they went with a Nymphora route. So, but a Nymphora hero that I love personally, and I think it's an awesome hero because their ultimate, especially, obviously allows very versatile, allows their team to move around and whatnot. In terms of the lanes, what is Ice going to do here now? Currently, Chipper is going top solo. It looks like they got Witch Slayer heading mid on. It looks like Ice may be planning to run a tri-lane strategy with their makeup right here with Nymphora, Andromeda, and then Electrician. So they want to get a fast farm on Electrician. Like I said from the beginning, though, this isn't the typical we're used to seeing, especially with an Electrician pick. If anything, used to seeing him solo to get those levels, or even in a 2-man lane to get the levels. But the tri lane will, kind of hurt his levels to an extent, but it is a very powerful tri lane. With that said, Electrician is going to be able to just spam that energy absorption on top of the mana he gets back from it, as well as even Nymphora if she does choose to go Gates of the Nymph, of course. So, going to be interesting there, and they are going to be matched up, in fact, against the tri lane of EG, at least from the beginning, is what it looks like. Oh, but Witch there, he went for the bottom route. He runs into 4 players from EG. He picks it up, but it doesn't matter. It's one of those, I might as well pick it up because I'm going to be going down anyways, so that's unfortunate, but a bad start for Ice, as Chu as well got the hero kill. He's farming 11,000 or 1,100 gold per minute, and that's obviously going to drop, but a great start for them. But the Hellborn side, Obviously, they're going to be relying really on Electrician to play that carry status, but if anything, going to be able to get. But look at that burst already on a Flint Beastwood! Wow, he dropped so low, just not enough for the kill though. But they caught him completely off guard, and that would have been a nice little comeback fight for them right there. But just not enough damage to finish him off. But the Hellborn team, Phil, I like them.
Well, they have, extreme gank written all over you. You talk about Electrician, Witchslayer, Nymphora, Andromeda. Chipper, I mean, they just have all gank heroes. So they can look to play very, very aggressively. And like I said, they have some decent burst damage to take care of some of these smaller heroes. Andromeda actually getting caught up here at the top or at the bottom lane. She might be going down. And will it have to be enough? No good support there from actually Nymphora and Electrician. Electrician coming by, trying to get in range to do anything. Not going to happen. Andromeda using the health potion, coming back in, and just not able to finish anything. Now Nymfora's in a little bit of trouble. She gets taken out here, and Electrician, they're trying to get this Myrmidon eating his way through everything, and now Andromeda is in a lot of trouble. She goes down, so Ice in a very bad position early on in the game. Obviously, it's only a minute and 40 into the game, so they have the opportunity to come back here, but you want to minimize the deaths as much as possible, especially when you're playing a team. Gank heavy teams, they need those early levels to be very, very active in the game, and that's not going to happen if they continue to lose this bottom tri lane.
It is funny because obviously again EG, they do have the early advantage as a result of 3 hero kills and 2 of them coming at this bottom lane with that last sequence, but that could have easily gone the way of Ice as well. I mean, it's just a matter of 1 or 2 auto attacks in both ways, and it just so happened to work out for EG. But that was very good juke from them. Don't get me wrong, it was a very good play, very skilled by both teams. EG definitely deserving to come out on top of that team fight, but could have just as easily been Ice's. But we are getting a lot of entertainment at the bottom lane, which is always fun. Let's go ahead and do a sync up real quickly. It seems like you're maybe a couple of seconds ahead. So in-game counter, I am at 229, 230, 231, 32, 33, 34. Okay. Should be good to go now. But yeah, entertainment here at this bottom lane, really as expected. Electrician, of course, he isn't dying yet. Really hasn't even come close to dying. Of course, the Legion team, that's not their focus, though. Their focus is going to be Nymphora and Andromeda every time, knowing that they can kill them a lot more effective, a lot easier. Electrician, now this would be interesting. The usual build we're used to seeing on him, again, we more so used to seeing him solo, but he does usually go the electric shield, energy absorption with a 1 level into static grip, but he likes to be that really tanky, a lot of AoE damage style builds. However, it looks like he's going stats, though. He went the 1 energy absorption and then stats. So because maybe the tri-lane makeup, because of the lineup he's going up against, would rather have, the survivability. He just picked it up. Okay, yeah, wow, he just picked it up. He's been level 2 for a while, but okay, so that makes more sense then. It is more the norm. I'm sure he will get level 1 of the grip either at level 3 or level 4, and then he'll just max out both his second and third abilities after that, so staying away from that, I guess. Thought I was right there for a second, but you see him getting a mana battery and his early boots. Boots, very good pickup early on, but Myrmidon, a great support here, as well as Voodoo Jester, they're doing their thing, and Flint Boosted is getting a nice farm himself, I'm sure. As you look at currently, he is, as there is actually in the middle lane, Dr. Repulsor was able to take out Pimp Slayer, or you can call him. It looks like Witchslayer did go in for a kill right there, but he was able to get away in time. At the top lane, Chipper taking some harassment. Going to survive. Electrician actually running towards that regen. We're going to get stunned from Voodoo Jester, but I don't think it's going to stop him even nearly enough. And yeah, he'll be able to pick it up despite not even needing it. Just picks it up and it just goes off. So whatever. He prevented, of course, Dr. Repulsor from bottling it up, who's now going to have to probably fall back or play very passively until he gets some regen going on. So very good job right there. But yeah, the farm, as I was going back to Fuji Apples on Flint Beastwood, he's currently 16-7 compared to the Electrician, who's 7-1. So clearly a big advantage in farm there for the Legion team. And so far you can say the tri-lane is working as a result of that and the hero kills. But here we go with the initiation on the Voodoo Jester. Electrician kind of cutting them off a little bit. Voodoo Jester stood no chance right there. And here we go with Electrician with that shield up, with the energy absorption. He has another nuke in 10 seconds, but of course not going to keep chasing. But the pressure and the damage was done, so it kind of shows you how fast they can just take you out. Witchslayer, in the meantime, he takes out Dr. Repulsor. As Repulsor, I'm guessing, wasn't able to get enough regen, and he ends up going down. No silver bullet even needed right there. As I need to turn that off. There we go. All right. But anyways, good job right there from the Hellborn team, and getting a couple kills here to make a little bit of a comeback in the hero kill section.
Well, they're definitely doing they're doing better, but once again they're kind of being held back in the same area that we talked about before. When you're running the melee here, that you want to get the farm in a tri-lane, especially against a ranged tri-lane. I mean, it's going to have similar to the same effects. It only takes, Voodoo Jester is as a cocktail. It lasts for 1 second. That's all you need to get a good weed field off, and you can follow that with a Magikarp if you decide to do so, or vice versa. Actually, action up top is a humiliation kill, and now action down bottom. Electrician in a little bit of trouble trying to make his way out of there. Flint Beast with putting the auto attacks on. He has got them bad mojo on him as well, and it looks like he might actually be able to escape. He's kind of hanging around there. Everybody's trying to get in here, and a really good weed field right there landed by Myrmidon is probably going to net a couple kills. Good job by Nymphora getting the heal off, but now she's putting herself in a lot of trouble. Why was she even sticking around there? Get back! And that's going to end up with her getting killed, and that was just unfortunate. Sometimes you just got to concede a death, and you don't want to, but it's better to have your one carry die than have all three of you die. And I understand they want to support it, but really bad decision there by Ja.
Wow. In the meantime, Dr. Pulsar playing the port game. He just completely juked Witchslayer there in the middle lane and ends up taking him out. But yeah, that was really questionable, the play right there from Ice here at the bottom lane. Both Electrician and Nymphora, they stuck around a lot longer than they should have. I mean, Electrician, I get the idea because he is somewhat tanky. He figured the heal from Nymphora would have been able to get him up somewhat and maybe turn that around. But yeah, that was just, it was very risky at the very least, and just did not work out for them whatsoever. So they're trying their best to keep aggressive, which they have been doing, no doubt. I mean, they've definitely been doing a good job of it, but it just seems like EG and their trailing support has been that much better. The mojo from Voodoo Jester, of course, being able to heal them back up. Myrmidon's wave field has caused some issues, and then just the DPS damage from Flint Beast and from the flare and everything has been too overwhelming. So yeah, definitely the trial lane has been won here by EG here at the bottom lane, now 7.5 minutes in, and that's unfortunate for Ice because no doubt, if anything, the point of their trial lane was to prevent Flint Beast from getting a powerful farm and really prevent this trial lane from being too effective. In the meantime, the middle lane, it seems like it just happens so quickly, but Dr. Pulsar gets picked off right there, and this time it was the case of a silver bullet to do so he gets a little bit of revenge right there. Meanwhile, back at the bottom lane, once again, Pharaoh jumps in, though. They were not ready for that, and Andromeda's going to start dropping. Electrician will go down more than likely as well. Maybe not, actually. He is very tanky. He's quite fast as well. And nice stun from Nymphora, and it looks like he's actually going to be able to get away in time. He throws out a heal, but oh no! Electrician outran the heal right there. That would have kept him alive for that last auto attack, but he outran the heal. Lack of instant communication right there. It's a very, very quick proc, though. If that was the older one, then he definitely would have got healed, but in this case where it just goes off in 1 second, he was not nearby in time, and down he goes, so that's unfortunate for him. But again, the aggressive play from the Hellborn team not resulting in enough hero kills, enough action, and just more so for the Legion side. Chipper reported down here, not in time though. He's going to try to maybe set something up on Flint Beastwood, but cannot do so. Pharaoh is still here. He's hiding in the jungle though, but Nymphora spots him. Here comes Chipper throwing out some rockets as well. Andromeda coming in here, going to help finish him off. But Marwell goes up though. Pharaoh wants to take Nymphora with him. Not going to happen. The heal comes out as well, keeping her alive. Oh, just like enough. The magic carapace, not enough. Charging in those Myrmidon. Gets the kill, but Myrmidon is dead to rights now, as well as Flint Beastwood. Electrician catches him in a bad spot, and down goes Flint. So we've been talking about throughout this trial lane down here that it's just been overplayed perhaps from Ice and a lot of these times, but that right there was EG overextending a little bit too much themselves, and they ended up getting taken out. So a little bit of a comeback there for the likes of Ice.
Well, kind of in a similar situation to how EG played against SK. When you had a lead, you just got to keep the lead. Actually, action down at the bottom lane. It looks like Dr. Pulse reporting in, and now Electrician in quite a bit of trouble as he'll be taken out here, and Shu gonna end up getting the double tap right there. So excellent job by EG. Basically, like I said, they need to be careful not to overextend themselves. If they just play smart, win the laning phase, which they've already done a good job of, and minimize the amount of kills that they give to Ice, they can really come out with a very quick and solid victory here. But unfortunately, EG is a team that's known for playing aggressively, and if you play aggressively and make mistakes, you're going to give ICE, high-level players that ICE has, you're going to give them the opportunity to come back in the game. So they really can't make any more of those really clutch mistakes. They can't afford to be losing Dr. Repulsor or actually, speaking of Dr. Repulsor, he's pouring way past here, out of mana now, and Witchslayer, actually, he had enough mana to get the Graveyard off, but nothing really to combo it with, so he's going to make his way back in there. But yeah, I mean, you can't be feeding the kills, and Myrmidon's going to go down here. The bottom looks like, wow, there's just action all over in this game. Pharaoh putting those mummy walls up and trying to protect the Flint Beastwood. You got to make sure that they keep him alive there. So yeah, they're just they need to be known as mistakes. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because both teams definitely are making several mistakes in terms of overextension, especially. But it's kind of as expected in a game like in a matchup like this, at least with this Tri-Lane versus Tri-Lane down here. Both teams, they have very good synergy amongst one another, and you get to the point where you're like, oh, he's just about dead, want to keep chasing, and well, you end up going a little bit too far. I mean, we've seen them several times now throughout this game so far. It's just an unfortunate mindset, but hey, it does provide entertainment, so definitely no complaining here. But yes, there have been mistakes made on both teams, and kind of reducing the overextensions and whatnot could help out. But Electrician, he's level 6 now. Of course, not going to get his ultimate yet. He's going to get to max out his Electric Shield and Energy Absorption first. His Electric Shield mainly, of course, going to hit that level 4. But yeah, once he gets those maxed out, he becomes a fairly good tank, especially, of course, the Electric Shield ability, as we've seen so many times. Allows him to, kind of run in those fights, play that target of, oh, he's up in our face, let's target him, and, that happens, and he absorbs a lot of the damage. As a result, the support players come in and start doing their thing. The Chipper will come in, start doing his thing, and catch the Legion team off guard. So, despite a slow start for them, despite them really losing the trial in at bottom with Flint Beastwood's farm, and compared to Electrician's farm especially, and how things have been going down there. In fact, you look at that, 40-14 right now for Flint Beastwood. He is nearing the 300 gold per minute mark. Electrician definitely nowhere near there. Those 3 deaths have hurt him a lot. His creep farm isn't horrible, but yeah, his deaths have definitely slowed him down quite a bit. But definitely, especially after last game as well. I'm not going to sit here and say anything in terms of the game status and it being over by any means, because it's definitely not at that stage. But as referred to earlier, the Hellborn side, they are more of an early to mid game team from their makeup, and you would expect a very aggressive, a lot of ganks to be set up. We've seen somewhat already, and to an extent, but definitely expected to pick up, around the 20-minute mark or so for a lot of movement to start happening, and really aggressive play if they want to make sure Flint Beastwood doesn't get too out of hand, and the likes of Dr. Repulsor as well, as we definitely have seen. Speaking of Chew, by the way, on Dr. Repulsor, I haven't focused too much on him. He does have those 5 hero kills, of course, a lot of them happening on a Witchslayer. You see him in his 3 deaths, or at least 3 of those happening onto him. But also a 61-15 creep score at the tops in the game has resulted in this 320 gold per minute. You already see Steam Boots bottle and a Blood Chalice and a power supply on him, so he's going for all the regeneration as well as those Steam Boots. And again, Shrunken Head, definitely an ideal item on him, especially for this matchup here. And we'll see if that is something he chooses to go for sooner than later. But right now, moving towards the bottom lane, however, no one really to set up a kill on, so he's going to just buy a Homecoming Zone right here and perhaps pour it right back to the middle lane to continue his farm.
We'll just have to see what they decide to do here. I mean, Nymphoria has taken her ultimate now, level 6, so they can play real hyper aggressively. Maybe try to set up some, get some aggressive warding going on, and try to set up some ganks with between her and a couple of the other heroes. Talk about Electrician is just always known to do really dangerous things. Voodoo Jester in a little bit of trouble here as the ultimate from Chipper comes out. Unfortunately, a couple missed rockets there, and a really good response from the enemy team. And wow, he just melts down to the ground. Great ultimate from Pharaoh there, and the Weed Field. It is just an excellent job here by EG, responding so well. Now we're going to see Witchslayer actually looks to take out, Dr. Repulsor. He goes down, and now Andromeda's going to be the next one to follow. Electrician following a really good stun there from Ja, trying to get something started here, and Pharaoh locking him in. You don't want to lock Electrician in with you. He does damage when you're standing next to him. That's crazy. It looks like Myrmidon's going to just use that I forget what the hell it's called, the tsunami charge-ish thing, wave form, and make his way out of there. So, I mean, those are the types of things, like we said, you got to minimize those mistakes. An excellent job there, really allowed them to take out that Chipper, but you can't overextend like that. You can't be greedy.
It is a very burst damage team, and we definitely saw that right there from the Hellborn side between Andromeda and Witchslayer. And Andromeda, as you're referring to earlier, he is going the Comet max out build first. He wants that burst. Oh, Electrician went to initiate on the Voodoo Jester. He gets stunned, however, out of the electric grip, and now here's Dr. Repulsor, but Andromeda's there, but so is Myrmidon. He swaps Electrician, wants to save it. Electrician, though, he just keeps running back into these fights. He isn't afraid to die, but you just maybe have to be afraid to die, because I did not see anything positive coming out of that. Andromeda also gets chased down. Oh, but he avoids the Pharaoh ultimate. What a dodge there from Witchslayer. Not going to matter, though, in the end. He's just going to end up trying to run away, and he should be fine. Oh, maybe not. Dr. Repulsor ports in, slowing him down a little bit. I just don't know if it's going to be close enough. Those Striders activated on Voodoo Jester. Wants to get a range to throw out the Acid Cocktail. Nice little dodge right there in the Fade to Black. Going to do a little bit of ring around the rosy here, but not going to be enough. Flint Beast had also joining the party, and down he goes. So Legion team wasn't able to make it over there in time. But, ooh, they might actually cut off right here. Yes, Nefor's going to look to cut off Myrmidon right here. The waveform, though, dodges everything. The heal is thrown out. Not going to be nearly enough to save Nefor. At least it doesn't look like it. Yeah, she's going to go down. Electrician, though, catches Flint Beast. Flint Beast is going to end up dropping right there with the help of Chipper. Chipper, though, he's starting to drop fast. A nice Graveyard Stun from the Pimp Slayer. The AoE damage is coming out from Electrician right here with that shield up. Down goes Dr. Repulsor, and Pharaoh, too, will go down. You see the the Ring of Sorcery being used a couple of times now from Electrician, so he chose to go that. The ultimate used on the Pimp Slayer, trying to get him in range of Myrmidon, but the waveform should be enough to keep him out from certain deaths. So this game, as it advances now, I mean, both teams just really back and forth. Very, very, very entertaining. 21-12. Hero Code advantage right now for EG. We're only 16 and a half or so minutes into the game. That's just a ridiculous K to kill to minute ratio in this game between the both teams. But, of course, that's what makes it exciting. But yeah, just really aggressive play from both sides, especially Bryce and Electrician. I mean, he just does not care about dying. He really doesn't. I mean, he'll go into team fights with barely any life, as we saw once again right there, and just try to do as much damage as possible, knowing that he's going to die, but hopefully that his team can clean up.
That's the big thing about Electrician, is that, I mean, your job, very similar to, we were talking about Soul Reaper before, very similar hero to Soul Reaper, is your job is basically to get up in the middle of things and just try to last as long as possible. Throw out your spells, in Electrician's case, throw out the energy absorption, maybe grip a person or two, ultimate people who have dots on them or need to be slowed down that are trying to escape, or speed someone up to catch up. So it's, he's one of those heroes that really benefits just from being in the team fights for a long period of time. We might see Dr. Repulsor kind of hanging around here at the top lane, and looks like Witchslayer is fully equipped with a level 2 ultimate ready to go, so they got to be careful. Witchslayer, he's done a good job so far of basically CCing this Dr. Repulsor down, and because Dr. Repulsor really has been focused more on ganking, his gold per minute has definitely dropped here.
Oh, yeah, it no doubt has. I mean, yeah, he's been spending a lot more time roaming around, but meanwhile, the top lane, Pharaoh's going to get caught out right here, and down he goes. Electrician joining the party. Hell, everyone joining the party for the Hellborn side. Literally, all 5 players are here. The Acid Cocktail is bouncing around, not going to do too much, though. And they're going to make a tower push. Should be able to get it. Whether or not it's denied is the question now. Legion team, though, they're not going to stay in there. Oh, but the swap, though, on Amir, but waveforms out. Is it going to be enough, though? Yes, it is for the time being. Electrician's energy absorption, however, takes out Dr. Repulsor, who ran into the middle of that. He also puts a Purge onto Flint Beast, and Rocket's coming out. Is going to be able to stay next to him for the longest time to actually tick him down. You also see the focus buffer on him. Talk about absorbing damage right there. Karma Stun goes out, and down goes Flint Beastwood. They once again catch yet another pellet. Look at the focus bar on Electrician, but it just doesn't drop. He is way too tanky, especially with that focus buffer. He is standing on top of Voodoo Jester. Here comes Andromeda and Chipper helping him. Down he goes, and the Legion team just all scattered right now. They're just unsure where to go. Oh, what is Myrmidon thinking? He runs back into Electrician right here. Oh, but here comes Dr. Repulsor out of mana, though. He went too far. He lays down the poop, then tries to walk away. Electrician collapses on Myrmidon, easily taking him out. And Dr. Repulsor, oh no, excuse me, that was, he did not go down, actually. That was one of the Hellborn players going down to Andromeda. Now the chase is on a Chipper, and he too will go down. Electrician at this point, yeah. As ballsy as he's been throughout this game, he needs to get away. Oh, he gets money shot, but using the mana shield as well as the energy absorption just before. And it looks like he's going to be enough to survive, so very close death. But he does barely get away. So Ice is making some noise here, and they're definitely looking a lot better than it was early on in the game. Just a really bad start for them, especially in that trial lane. But as Electrician has gotten the levels finally, he's got that Ring of the Sorcery now, Plated Greaves as well. moving around a lot as expected, this Hellborn team, and really causing a lot of damage. And I like that Commissar build as well. Anka bot playing Andromeda. Again, the normal we're so used to seeing is the 1-4-4. However, in a lineup like this where they really don't have that hero that relies on auto attack damage, obviously they're all just bursty, magical damage even, the Kama stun makes all the more sense. So I love that pick up that build right there. Definitely has been working out. All around sound play from Ice, but you look at the numbers and everything, EG still technically has the advantage. We got a Firebrand pick up on Flint Beastwood, so they're still good in that sense. But this game is, as far as I'm concerned, anyone's game at this point.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, and the thing is, like, even though it looked like, Emperor or Bryce had been playing kind of crazy with Electrician, he's on a serial killer streak, so he was 1-4 and is now 4-4. He's definitely been making the best of his decisions. Actually, we see initiation here as Pharaoh reports in, and Dr. Poster just goes right behind him, and now Electrician is in a lot of trouble, and he just gets melted to the ground. So the combination of team fight potential as far as dual initiation, Infora now is going to be the next to go down as she's taken out. But yeah, like the dual initiation from both Pharaoh and Dr. Repulsor is just going to be, if you're trying to pick off one or two heroes, that's what you really got to look out for. It's very, very, very dangerous to be caught against that. Wow, Dr. Repulsor runs right into the barrel of Pimp Slayer's gun and just took one right to the mouth right there. Absolutely blasted. Going to blow the glyph now on this defensive tower in the middle as Chipper's trying to come out, throwing the ultimate down. Not the best placement, but enough to get some damage on Myrmidon. However, he's going to use the health potion to get back up, and they still end up getting the tower kill. It looked like Fuji Apple's using the explosive flare to make that happen. So, EG, they're making things happen, but, Dr. Repulsor, he goes down yet again, and like I said, his gold farm is really, it's still sitting around 300 gold per minute, which is nice, but definitely not where it could have or should have been had they just been kind of playing a little bit smarter, maybe not playing quite so aggressive, but, then again, we wouldn't be talking about EG if we weren't talking about or if we weren't talking about aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, and again, back to Chu on Dr. Repulsor. Of course, you expect him to roam, so it's not necessarily surprising that he's roaming by any means or setting up ganks and, maybe hurting his farming a little bit in that sense, but obviously the dying part is what ultimately is hurting him and is hurting the whole gold farm as he does with those 9 hero kills, the top in the game in terms of individual hero kill farm, but those 6 deaths have slowed him down as you keep referring to. So, but yeah, at 281 gold per minute, I'm sure he's not necessarily crying over and complaining by any means, but it could be higher if, wasn't dying as much. It's just been, though, the aggressive play on both sides, but Ice has done a good job of reacting to a lot of these situations. I mean, even right there, despite it was a really scattered fight from Ice, it just was bad communication, bad teamwork right there, and really they lost 3 players. However, it was only Witch Slayer and Chipper. Yet they fought off for quite a bit. They did end up losing the tower, but they fought off quite a bit, and as you said, in the end, they ended up killing Dr. Repulsor with the Witch Slayer Silver Bullet. So and they picked off one. They both stayed alive, so not too bad, making the best of the situation. Voodoo Jester and Dr. Repulsor run into a lonely Electrician here, but Electrician's standing his ground. Look at all the damage absorption once again, and here comes the help now. Voodoo Jester drops. Pharaoh, though, jumps in on top of an Informer, but Andromeda ports her out. She throws out a stun, and there's the purge on a Pharaoh. He's in a bad spot now. Flint Beastwood, though, comes in, trying to harass him a little bit. He falls back himself, however, because they're coming in. Oh, what the portal kill. Witch Slayer with the Hex, followed by the Graveyard Sun, going to stand in front of him. Mana training now, just to get that mana. Why not? He's using his abilities, and down goes Flint Beastwood. Myrmidon, the sole survivor, preventing the genocide. He's trying to get away. Oh, might not be successful, though. Another portal key initiation from Witch Slayer. The Commissar to follow, and the auto attack from Bottle Up, playing Pimp Slayer, gets the kill. That's going to be the genocider. Yay! And the Hellborn team, they're looking good once again. Going to be able to push in this middle lane maybe a little bit right here. Going to wait for the creep wave. But yeah, good sequence there. That's what this game has been about. It's about who can pick off the other team first in terms of finding individual players by themselves. I mean, we saw that in the fight previous, obviously in favor of EG, and now this time was a matter of, well, EG, they found Electrician first. I mean, it was a 2 versus 1. They put out a lot of damage, but he was absorbing a lot of it, obviously, and then he bought enough time for his team to come and help. And, well, that ended up resulting in a turnaround. So Electrician, definitely not the ideal hero you want to gank because of that situation, but just bad placement, I guess, for EG.
The thing is that they're not really making Ice work for much of anything. They're not really making them work for the healer kills that they're getting. It's not like there's like crazy offensive warding going on in favor of Ice. You know what I mean? They don't have like crazy vision of the entire Legion jungle or anything weird like that. They're just wandering onto the opposing team side. They're getting caught in the rivers without kind of just unawares, and Ice is making them pay for it. And that's it's one of the things that you really have to say. Ice is doing their job about biding their time, and if they're going to let EG play aggressive, they're saying, all right, you play aggressive and see what we do to you. Come to Brooklyn and see what happens. So it's one of those things where they're making the best of what they got, and that's what they really had to do to get back in this game. And now it's really, really anyone's game. The gold advantage is still massively in favor of EG, but a couple tower kills here, that could go all the way for EG.
Oh yeah, it definitely can. Again, yeah, the Hellborn team, they don't have that necessarily hard carry to rely on in terms of maybe it gets a later game that they could just be like, oh, we'll just outfarm them, because that's just not going to be the case. And so the more pressure that EG applies early on, obviously the more it's going to hurt Ice, but Ice is trying to prevent that ever happening by playing very aggressive themselves, as well they should be. They're going to be able to drop this bottom tower. Electrician tanking the damage once again, pulls another wave right there. You see Dr. Repulsor getting out of danger before anything happens to him, as looking at the abilities of Electrician, so he has all 4, of course, and now he's going to work on the stats now, being level 14. But all 5 are down here for the Hellborn side. He's seen N4 just on another heal, and again, that just 1 second cast time of it exploding and healing everyone up. So both teams do have a powerful healing pusher as well. Obviously, Voodoo Jester for the Legion side, and Nim4 for the Hellborn team. Electrician out in front. There's a swap there on a Flint Beast. Well, this is going to be a huge kill for them. It is stopped the static grip, but it doesn't matter. The damage was done. That's Andromeda for you. An excellent swap. Pharaoh in the meantime catching the Mummy Wall up here. He's taking a lot of damage himself, though. He ends up going down. Myrmidon and Dr. Repulsor trying to clean up, however, trying to focus on the Chipper. He uses that focus buffer, though, absorbing enough damage to maybe stay alive. Is he going to be able to live? He's down to 32 life. He throws out some rockets, just hoping that it can get this done. Oh, but a stun from Andromeda. There's a volatile pot from Nim4, turning it around onto Dr. Repulsor. Is it going to be enough? Andromeda chasing with that perk from Electrician, and they will get the kill. The genocide is complete yet again for Ice, and perhaps that comeback that we're talking about is starting to happen right now for Ice. Looking really good. They're maybe going to go for a Congo attempt right here while they're all down. In fact, yes, they're grouping up over here. Chipper just pretty much no life, so needs to be careful, but he is using some bottle charges now after bottling up that double damage here, and of course the heal and Ring of the Sorcery will pretty much start to bring everyone back up. So yeah, pretty good news here for Ice. Once again, they're still losing in hero kills, starting to 28, but that obviously only means so much. They're going to get this Congo kill, and we'll see. I'm guessing Electrician would be the one to pick it up, and yep, in fact, there he goes. So picks up the Token of Life, and now as hard as he's been to kill with the decent levels and farm that he has now, got to come twice. That's unfortunate, and will help him and allow him to play even more aggressive than he's been playing. So that's really scary for EG, I'm sure. But Andromeda swap, that it's been huge throughout this game, and once again huge right there. As if you can catch out Flint Beast like that, I mean, you can definitely expect to win every team fight.
Chipper's working on that Staff of the Master. He currently is just missing the pattern. The other 2 pieces are sitting on the courier right now. Electrician, he's working towards, okay, he just finished his Shrunken Head, so that's going to be even more bad news there for EG. I mean, not only now do they have to, obviously worry about, the fact that they're not going to be able to stun him out of his grip. The only person, I believe, who actually has that capability now is Pharaoh using the ultimate. So I don't know if the mini stun from Money Shot actually goes through the. I don't even know if you can target him. I don't think you can. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't play enough Flint Beastwood to really mess around with knowing what abilities he has that go through Shrunken Head. But either way, it's going to be really annoying to deal with. And having the Token of Life on him is kind of similar. You imagine like having a Token of Life on Torture. He comes back to life and immediately starts doing like crazy AOE damage all around you. Another thing that makes him so useful, and I'm sure like a lot of people know about this, but it's just the fact that you don't actually have to have any mana to keep that electric shield up. Although it won't really reduce any damage for you, it still gives you the 60 damage per second that you get in the aura. So even when you're out of mana with Electrician, you're not necessarily boned by any means.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it isn't a big deal. I mean, because he is fairly tanking himself, and so now with that Shrunken Head, and it's this really. Obviously, Nim4 was a huge pick. We did see them right-clicking Demented Shaman in the end, too. I honestly think either hero would have been fine, because obviously Demented Shaman brings you a heal himself as well, and as also the ultimate, which is always a very good ultimate. Oh, what a catch on the Dr. Repulsor! They poured up top of Nymphora. The Graveyard Stun hits him before he can Homecoming Stone out, and the Silver Bullet from Witch there to take him out. So, just again, another good catch for them. And so Dr. Repulsor, he has the most hero kills in the game, but he also has the most hero deaths in the game now with 9 hero deaths. Speaking of hero stats, 18 assists currently on Andromeda. I mean, it pretty much been involved in like every single team fight, but it really is everyone in this game has been just a lot of chaotic fights. But that's, and once again, huge, and that's Nymphora for you. Now that she's level 11, of course, level 2 ultimate, she can take 2 players with her on those portals, and selected both Electrician and Witchslayer that time and picked them off. So Legion team, you just always have to be open to knowing that if you're pushing up like that, especially, you can just get jumped out of nowhere, literally. Even though you see them at the bottom lane, all of a sudden they'll be at the top lane from that Nymphora ultimate. So there's a very, very, very scary hero to play against, definitely, especially with a team makeup like this, the very aggressive gank style team. So Ice is going to now push this bottom lane, knowing that Dr. Repulsor is still down, of course. The Legion team kind of occupied in the middle in the top lane. So they're going to do as much damage as possible. Again, going back to the focus buffer, we see him constantly just placing it onto Electrician. I mean, he's already just so damn tanky with that electric shield on top of that focus buffer now. It's got to be so annoying for the Legion team. They easily drop the tower, and they clean up the wave, and then they fall back. And Nymphora once again going to pour this down to the top lane. And what are you thinking, Voodoo Jester? Pushing by yourself. I love Sebuska as a player. I mean, he's an awesome guy, awesome player. But what the hell are you thinking pushing with a hero like Voodoo Jester in a situation like this? I have no clue.
Well, it's people who underestimate the viability of someone like Nymphora with, gank type strategies. That's the kind of thing that's going to happen there. If you put yourself in a situation where you're not surrounded by teammates and you're kind of not carrying. I'm not sure if he had a TP. He did have a TP with him, but if you don't have constant map control, then you can't really see where Nymphora is TPing to and who she's TPing with, and just putting yourself out in a situation like that is always going to end up in a end up going bad for you, really.
Let's go ahead and fast forward this pause. Might as well take advantage.
By the way, the command for skipping pause, I can't remember what it is now, but it's like...
I thought you were going to tell me.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not going to tell you.
Damn it. Okay, whatever.
Somebody will post about it in IRC in a few seconds, because they posted it last time, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
It should. I know, I've seen it so many times, I just never write it down to actually use it.
So you had 43 minutes on the replay counter?
Yeah, I'll do that. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. 01, 02, 03.
Okay.
Alright. So, yeah, you see the Hellborn team, again, keeping up the pressure. They use it in 4 ultimate to get up here to gank Voodoo Jester. Now they're going to push the lane, of course, so they have 2 secondary towers to worry about. As far as EG is concerned, they also have 2 secondary towers to worry about, so the towers are even at this point between the two teams. Staff of the Master finished on Chipper. Very effective, of course. How's Flimpius been doing? He's still sitting with his Geometer's Bane. He's actually picking up a Nullfire Blade, it looks like, as well. Getting another Quick Blade. So, interesting choice right there. I wonder... I guess it would purge the... No, because that wouldn't make sense. Focus Buffer, I guess, would be a reason to get it. Other than that, for, of course, slowing. And just a mana drain in general isn't too bad to have. So we have another pause, but it might resume right away. Lol. Okay, there we go. He went to get tea. So yeah, the Hellborn team, they're grouping up here at this top side. We see Swindle Melon's kind of off in the jungle, scouting it out in case someone pushes up so we can set up some nice rockets. But as you can see from the mini-map, the Legion team is nowhere nearby. Nowhere up there, at least. So they're going to need to make their way up there, though, because they definitely want to defend the tower. As you see, all 5 are now here from Ice. Of course, Electrician leading the way. He ain't afraid to take damage, as he shouldn't be. Of course, especially now with that Shrunken Head is talking about, and with the Token of Life he still has. See the focus buffer applied to him. And the damage being applied to the tower. So, I mean, now it's just a matter of what can the Legion team do for their initiation. Even if Pharaoh lands a good ultimate, it's just tough because there's a lot of AoE and burst damage in general coming out from the Hellborn side, and they can react very, very quickly, especially if you catch somebody like an Electrician who already has a shield up. I mean, he's already doing the damage, so it is difficult here for EG to get that strong initiation. And when Ice is grouped up like this as a 5, they're not necessarily grouped up though in the sense that, well, they're kind of stacked here now, but they have been doing a good job of staying spread out. Woo, nice deny there by Fuji Apples, but wait, so he jumps in trying to catch Flint Beast. Well, they are going to catch Dr. Repulsor, however, and just look at the burst damage. He just gets annihilated right there. A swamp on Fuji Jester now as well. Down he drops. He had stood absolutely no chance. Nymphora, the only one taking a little bit of damage. They're down about half life, but the heals and absorption and everything just too powerful for the Hellborn team, and just how quick they could just catch you like that between the Portal Key Witch Slayer and the SWAT from Andromeda. They're now going to push the base tower, and with 2 players dead for EG, it's not looking good. This is not a good place for them to be in. Pharaoh is up. He still has his ultimate, so if anything, maybe going to look to use it to kind of go in and disrupt this push. Oh, Nymphora dropping really low right there, about a 60 life or so, but he's going to survive. You see the mana drain coming out from Electrician, or excuse me, from Flint Beastwood onto Electrician from the Nullfire Blade, draining all those mana, in fact. So they are going to do enough to actually defend the tower, but damage definitely done by Ice right there. Once again, dropping 2 players and pushing into the tower. Which there, here we go with the Portal Key yet again. This time on a Myrmidon. Andromeda also swapping Flint Beastwood out. The Storm Spirit going to be used, holding him in place. Electrician right on top, and down goes Flint Beastwood. Andromeda ends up being picked off, kind of expected though. Nymphora also going down. Electrician also going down himself, but he's going to resurrect right back up. And Pharaoh's like, get me out of these damn mummy walls. He comes back up, but Electrician dropping really fast. There's too many Legion players there, and he ends up dying. So, as we talked about earlier, perhaps just one of those staying in a little bit too long cases for Ice. You got to look at the resurrection timers. Dr. Repulsor now on top of Chipper, and Chipper will more than likely be taken out. You see Witch Slayer over here. Is going to be taken out. Dr. Repulsor out of mana now. He just barely has enough for a little bit of his ultimate, but Chipper kind of doing a dodge there in the forest. Oh, but the Tablet of Command onto Voodoo Jester catches him, and that's where you're going to die, Chipper, despite the focus buffer. So down he goes. Andromeda tried to get there in time. Wow, she actually got really close to swapping him, but in the end, doesn't matter. But yeah, so Ice, both teams have definitely been in the situation of overextension and whatnot, but that was just another matter of Ice being got in the bad spot. Oh, Dr. Repulsor dropping fast and mana drink, preventing him, and the silver bullet from Witch Slayer just in time to take out Dr. Repulsor. So again, they kill Chu right there on Dr. Repulsor. Now they're going to catch the Bushcon Voodoo Jester, and yes, Nymphora and Andromeda will do so. They don't even need Electrician or anyone else. They just got so much burst between themselves. And, well, they come through, so action is definitely here. 70 hero kills between the 2 teams, pretty much averaging 2 hero kills a minute.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned the Nullfire Blade pickup on Flint.
Yeah, I did. I was talking about it earlier. Several reasons.
Okay, yeah. I kind of zoned out there. I was looking for the actual how to auto skip the pauses, and I found it. If you want to know, we can do it for the next for the following replays.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's a very unique pickup, and not really leading to him having any additional survivability there, and that's could be very dangerous for EG, simply because we talked about earlier they have the burst damage potential, and they're going to maintain that burst damage potential if they're not picking up items like Shrunken Heads, if they're not picking up, which nobody's picked up a Shrunken Head yet, as far as I can tell. No, so Pharaoh, I mean, because he's a strength hero, he's got that innate strength, but really nobody else picking up anything crazy that's going to help him allow to survive. Even Myrmidon picks up a Warhammer. If he's going for a Shrunken Head, not pick up the Mighty Blade first, which would give him some at least additional hit points would have been kind of more preferable. But he's just trying to, I guess, hit a little bit harder than he did before. So very unique pickups over here on EG, not really lending towards survivability, which is what they really need with the amount of burst damage over on this Ice team. Yeah, and
it starts with Dr. Repulsor, because a hero that definitely finds himself in the midst of a lot of those fights, albeit he ports around, but just the burst damage and a lot of stuns that, as we talked about earlier, everyone technically has a stun on this Hellborn team. You figure Shrunken Head would have just been yeah, I need to pick this up as soon as possible. But Chu was getting a very good farm against something we've been talking about, but the deaths have just hurt him. So ever since he started roaming around, despite his goal per minute again still not being horrible, it has dropped a lot. I mean, it's down to 240 now at this point. It was up near the 300 mark for so long in this game. But because he keeps dying at points, and when he has a gold saved up, he just cannot buy those bigger items. Flintbeast gets caught right here, by the way. The swap once again comes through for Andromeda. Pharaoh comes in trying to save his teammate, but just a little bit too late, so the damage already done. Players are dropping on the Hellborn side now, but just not enough. Pharaoh's going to go down, and Dr. Upholster 2 gets picked off. The Hex, the quick reaction from Witzer on top of the Silver Bullet, is able to finish him off before he can do too much. Andromeda does end up going down, but again, he's one of those heroes you almost expect to die, especially when he uses her swap. And the 3 players dead, they will definitely take that, and it looks like another Congo kill coming up for Ice right here as well. They don't, again, have a lot of damage necessarily, but Electrician could tank it for quite a bit. And if any time, this is the time for them to do it, of course, with only the Myrmidon and Voodoo Jester up. Not too much to worry about when it comes to getting ganked here while doing Conger. So yeah, but going back to the point again, Chu has just had just too strong. Those 12 deaths right now leading the game. Another one right there. He just hasn't been able to save up enough. And he actually did go Blessed Orb first. I believe he went Blessed Orb first. Now he has a Mighty Blade. So even then, I don't know if he's planning to go for Sheepstroke or a Nullstone. If he was going for a Nullstone, Nullstone good, yeah, but there's just so many abilities that can just take the Nullstone away right away. And again, we see the Nymphora ultimate coming into play. They kill Congo, which Voodoo Jester's like, yeah, I don't need to worry about being ganked right here. Oh, wait, they have Nymphora. All of a sudden, they're right on top of me, and they take me out. So it's just Ice just all over the place, just keeping EG on their toes. And EG just cannot seem to settle this game down.
No, they cannot, and it's, Nymphora, her ability, to basically TP gank is unrivaled, and the fact that she's constantly keeping TPs on her as well really gives the opposing team a lot of mobility. It gives them the chance to basically push up. They don't necessarily have to be afraid of, somebody coming from behind, trying to take out, one of the outer towers without creep support, or any other kind of, effect as far as, if a lane gets too far pushed up, they don't actually have to, be 100% worried about, oh man, we got to get back there as soon as possible. Who has a TP? It's just like, oh, hey Nymphora, why don't you just send us back to the base real quick, so they can definitely respond to both, offensively and defensively with an Nymphora teleport ability, and it's really made a huge difference in this matchup thus far, especially after she hit 6, and it took a little while for her to get 6 as well because of how fail the lane was up in the top, or I'm sorry, in the bottom tri lane. But ever since they hit 6, they've really been much more successful here, and all props got to go out to to EG, or not to EG, but to Ice for basically sticking with it and turning things 100% around.
Yeah, so it's just a mix of perhaps poor item choice, itemization from the Legion team as a whole. I know I'm picking on Dr. Upholsters a lot, but you were referring to even Flintbeast as well. I mean, Shrunken Head, again, it just figures like against his teammate, it would just be I need it. I mean, there's just no other options type item, but in this case, literally no one on the Legion team has it. We finally see Myrmidon. He's going to be finishing it hopefully soon for him, but he's not the important hero, of course. Of course, the important hero would be, are you kidding me? That is so lame. Okay, well, we'll take that away real quickly, hopefully. Anyways. Yeah, so we see Electrician nuking down the creep wave right there, and the Hellborn side is going to make a push here. Going to look to go for the melee racks, but here goes the Legion team initiating. Here we go, the Spiral's Mummy Wall comes out. The Electrician trying to take as much damage as possible right there. The Legion team, though, they're kind of grouped up, and they're doing a lot of damage themselves. We're going to see Chipper getting taken out. He, in fact, wasn't even able to use his ultimate. That is huge right there. Electrician, despite being so tanky, going to end up going down. Of course, he'll resurrect right back, but can he get away is a question. With his ultimate, perhaps. He's just trying so hard, but the Mummy Wall keeping him in place. Here comes the Hellborn team trying to support him once again. Electrician actually standing his ground, figuring might as well try to do as much damage as possible. But it's going to, the heal comes out, so it's just so amazing how they're staying alive. And then Florida, he finally gets picked up by Money Shot right there. And now there's another trap on the Electrician, and this time he will go down. So the damage just over time right there for the Legion team. They don't necessarily have the greatest burst damage compared to the Hellborn side, but they're able to withstand that dive right there from Ice and able to take him out. So job well done right there from the Legion side. and set up a defense for really the first time, it seems like, lately, at least in the 10 minutes or so, finally are able to stop the aggressive offensive push of Ice. As, again, maybe you can argue that was overextension right there, but just good coordination from EG.
Well, I mean, like I said, we're talking about EG here. I mean, they're no easy team to beat, and they did have a pretty hefty lead in the beginning, and even though they've given that up, as far as the teams are concerned, they just have to play smart. They can't all get focused down. They can't all get caught out. They really need to use the CC that they do have as much as possible. Chu needs to make sure that he's porting in and out of those team fights and not necessarily getting himself caught out there. Basically, he kind of has to hang around and let some people blow some stuff and then kind of make his presence known, because that's who they're really relying on. Him and Flint Beastwood, they're really relying on those two heroes to make things happen. And he's picked up his shrunken head now, by the way. Dr. Repulsor has. I don't know if you mentioned that. I think you did. But picking that up is going to allow him to port in and out of these team fights a little more often. And as long as they're careful, AG definitely still has a little bit of wiggling room left.
Yeah, they do. I mean, again, it's the shrunken heads, and no doubt, as you said from the very beginning, would be a big item, and finally we see them being picked up. Whether it's just because of lack of farm or just not choosing to do so. Dr. Posted has his, as you mentioned, Flint Beastwood. Well, now with the Mighty Blade, you would expect that to be the case. And, of course, Mirrodon with his, not as important, obviously, but definitely useful to have on a hero like that. And we'd have a pause here once again. So, let's try our command. What is it?
No, it actually worked because I'm still playing. Anyway, the command, go to Control F8.
Yeah.
The command is replay _ auto skip pause, one word, AUTOSKIPPAUSE.
I know how to spell.
Space 1. I'm just making sure.
Okay, so
I know
where are you
California
at then?
Education is.
Go to 56 minutes on the replay counter. Then we'll just go from there.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3. Should be good. Okay. All right, cool. So from now on, I guess it should. So that should do it for just from now on forever, huh? We need to change that. I wonder if you need to redo it if you log in again. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, so
I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, but yeah. So again, it's about those shrunken heads. It's about not being CC'd and absorbing damage. And now that those are being picked up on EG's side, you definitely got to feel a lot more confident for them. But it's just this game has just been so back and forth. Again, the team stats clearly have been in favor of Ice for a while now. The 14,000 experience in him, and that is overwhelming right there, including a level 21 electrician. But really, it's just because of very consistent, very good spread of levels. I mean, a lot of these games, a lot of times, especially if it starts getting to the later game stage, you see 1 or 2 years just really take off. They're even 10 levels ahead of some of their even own teammates, and obviously the support players like a Glacius, Andromeda, Voodoo Jester, which side they get left behind. That's not the case here. I mean, you're talking about a spread of level 16 to level 21, obviously only 5 levels right there. So it's really, really good, very nice little spread that Ice has going. You look at the Legion side, pretty much the same thing on them, actually. So overall in this game has been a very nice spread for both teams. Talk about Nephora Ultimate once again. They're going to try to go down here. Oh, but Voodoo Jester, yes, he will go down. So Chipper, does he have a portal key as well? Yes, he does. So Chipper now has his portal key, helping show it off right there. Of course, and Nephora Ultimate leading them to do that, and Voodoo Jester will have to wait another minute to resurrect now. So not necessarily the pick off of the Sentry by any means, but hey, you can pick off any heroes you can get, of course, and go from there. Kongor should be resurrecting fairly soon, in the next minute or so. And we do see the Hellborn team hanging around that area at least, so gonna check to see if he resurrects soon. Then, of course, they'll look to go for it. Electrician picking up a plate mail, excuse me. So Frost Real Plate, more than likely, as we usually see that on him. Obviously, Demonic Breastplate in a game like this wouldn't make too much sense, at least for his team. Maybe in a defense purpose, but yeah, not really. So Frost Real Plate will more than likely be the item of choice there, especially since Intellect is obviously a very good stat for, or mana, I should say, is a very good stat for Electrician. But yeah, I mean, more and more items being picked up. It seems like we are at a farming stage. I don't know how I feel about this, especially for Ice. I mean, again, the last fight that they had, they did get stopped at the base. So you can look back at that and kind of think maybe that's why they're timid right now to to keep playing aggressive as they have been throughout this game. I mean, this is by far the longest period we've had in lack of action in this game, easily. And I think that does hurt Ice more with their makeup, with their play style, because again, if they go to a farming game like we talked about earlier, that is advantage for EG between Flint Beastman and Dr. Repulsor, and we're seeing it already. Flint Beastman has finally finished that Shrunken Head. Dr. Repulsor now picking up, he's been sitting on that Blessed Orb. So what he turns that into, a Sheep Stick at this point definitely would be a valid option. Hell, even a Nullstone wouldn't be too bad, but I would think Sheep Stick, honestly. But yeah, so this is where I'm kind of worried a little bit for Ice. I can understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, I don't know if this is the best strategy necessarily.
They needed to get a bigger pickoff than Voodoo Jester. I mean, obviously, it's like you said, it's nice to get the pickoffs, get the extra gold, the extra experience to your heroes, but, Voodoo Jester is not really a key player in some of these team fights. He's kind of thrown out a couple acid cocktails and done some damage like that, but aside from that, he's not been like, got to take it out, they got to focus that Voodoo Jester out, as he has been caught out time and time again, and, still, as you mentioned, Ice has had problems breaking into the base, so we'll have to see, what their actual plan is here. Nymphora picking up a Great Arcana. Maybe we'll see spell shards on her. I mean, I guess that's really, I don't want to say would make sense, but that's kind of what the only thing I can think it might turn into. I mean, I guess he could try to go for Hellflower. It's very late in the game to go for that, but if you get, it's a very useful item. So if you're getting the gold for it, then obviously it would be a very pick up.
Wow! Oh man, that is the one negative thing about an Nymphora Ultimate. If the team catches it coming, they will be ready to set up on it, and holy crap, that was perfect right there for EG. Ice went with that port, but somebody on EG spotted it. They were ready with the setup. Pharaoh went to the front lines. They threw down their nukes and everything. The Wayfield came out to keep them all trapped, and the Hellborn team just got annihilated. Electrician didn't go with them either. Of course, he can't send the whole team. He can only send 3 teammates in total, and it just turned out that Electrician happened to not go with him. So instead, he's just sitting back at the base. We see Chipper buying back. They know this is really big right here. They need to keep them from killing the racks if they want to have a good chance of winning this game, actually, but it's not looking too good. Chipper already caught out. The Frostfield play used by Electrician trying to make something happen. Chipper is running away. It's going to be enough magic absorption. It looks like it is. He's barely going to survive for now. Oh, but what a catch from Pharaoh. Perfect angle right there from B-Kid playing Pharaoh, and he ends up catching him. Electrician, though, standing his ground. He might actually kill Voodoo Jester. He will do so, but in the end, he's probably going to drop right here. Just the CC is too much. There goes the Mummy Wall, and down goes Electrician. So that just one simple mistake. We talk about it so many times in these competitive tier games. Literally one mistake from a team can completely set the tone and just really destroy you. And that right there, EG, no doubt, is feeling very confident now. They get the melee and the ranged racks. They clean up the bottom lane, and this is where both Flint Beastman and Dr. Pulsar start to get overwhelming farm to a point where Ice is just not going to be able to push through. Their burst damage just won't matter.
No, it's unfortunate. It is, as you said before. Seeing that Nymphora little thing come up on your screen, that's kind of like, when you see it, you're like, oh, please, let them not be looking at the mini-map and see, me standing here, see the rest of us standing there. Of course, when you're porting into places like where the secret shop's at, you can't see who's back there, so you don't ever really know what's going on. And a perfect job by Chu there by maintaining lane presence and letting them think that they were going to be able to get that big kill that I was talking about, get that big teleport in and that's the big TP gank in. Unfortunately, it worked out the complete opposite of the way they needed it to work, and that may have very well cost him the game here. As you remember that 25,000 experience lead that the Hellborn had? Look at it now. I mean, only 4,000 experience lead. Very negligible at the 51-minute mark.
Yeah, it's died out a lot, and now, of course, that gold lead now even in favor of EG, so it is going to be very difficult now for all the advantages that the Hellborn team had were their burst damage, were their CC, but not only with the Shrunken Heads that have been finally picked up, and at least 3 of the 5 heroes, the important heroes you could say. There's also the Barrier Idol now in Pharaoh, a lot of absorption there, and just the stats in general from being the levels that they are. They pick off Andromeda right there. who actually swapped to go in there, but the Hellborn team didn't react fast enough. Electrician taking a lot of damage, finally using the Frostfield play, and at this point he's just worried about getting out of there, and he should be fine using the Purge on himself. We also see Shrunken Head Witch Slayer in the midst of that, but again, the Orb Absorption coming out from the Legion team. You see the Mojo coming out as well, and money shot on Nymphora, and that is going to be enough for a kill onto her. Dr. Pulsar ports in, catching Witch Slayer, and again, the Hellborn team, they just do not have enough, although Dr. Pulsar ends up going down right there. Not too bad of a kill for the Hellborn side, but they're going to have to fall back to regen. While in the meantime, their defensive tower taking a lot of damage. Flint Beasthood, he is still here, of course, as well as 3 other players. And they're going to drop this defensive tower, and if they get these racks, pretty much can say it's going to be GG. There just really isn't that chance of Ice coming back with the lack of a carry, unfortunately. Hard carry, true hard carry, at least whatever you want to label it as. On their team, Electrician gonna get caught a little bit here, but again, he is tanky. But there's that Mummy Wall going up, and that's where it becomes a lot more difficult for him to get away, but he's just gonna do as much damage as possible. Might be enough for a kill on Myrmidon, but no, it's not. Down he goes. There goes the ranged racks. There's the melee racks. GGs are coming out, and it looks like that finally could be the end, so there's the concede vote. And EG, it looks like they're gonna be victorious, so that one simple mistake. Again, it could have been the same result no matter what. That's referring to earlier. Just Ice got in this mode around the 40-minute mark or so. They lost that 1T5 at the top lane after trying to push into the base, and they just didn't try again. They played very passively after that. They've been playing so aggressive throughout this game, but for whatever reason, they decided to play passive after that. They decided to play the farm game, and it just wasn't going to happen. You cannot out-farm with the makeup that they have compared to the Legion team makeup. And, well, in the end, Legion team is victorious, and they move on to the semifinals, EG that is. And there is the concede vote. So final thoughts on this game, Phil?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. It just seems like after they lost that team fight, they waited around for too long to make something happen. EG finally kind of got their act together, teamed up, coordinated well, and made something happen. And that Nymphora teleport there is ultimately, even if this game eventually went to EG, we probably could have seen at least another 10 or 15 minutes out of it. Before EG was really able to make something happen, had they not made that basically game crippling teleport with Nymphora down there into the bottom jungle. But that's the kind of chances that you take when you're playing with a hero like Nymphora. When you're TPing into the unknown, you don't really know what you're going to be TPing into. I mean, it's kind of makes sense. So unfortunate mistake right there on the part of Ice. But if you it's kind of a high risk, high reward type thing, and unfortunately they didn't get the reward for playing high risk that time. But overall, very, very impressive game. Impressive comeback from Ice, but unfortunately just not enough to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, again, as said from the beginning, I mean, this is why I honestly prefer watching a team like Ice, because they are a very entertaining team. Bryce at captain, he does an awesome job at picking some off-the-wall heroes, some awesome strategies, and we saw that once again here today, and it was very close to being able to pull through victory, but we are talking about EG here, despite their somewhat of a downfall, people might say, lately. I mean, again, still a top-tier team, if not still are the best in the States at least. Yeah, they were not able to fully pull through, and EG comes out on top. So, again, they move on to the semifinals, and that's where they'll be for the Gaming Place tournament. In terms of what we cast next, we're going to cast a semifinals match next, so we'll select which one in just a second, so stay tuned for that, but we'll be back for that. So, thanks for tuning in. Again, I was Breaky CPK. Joining me was Phil the Thrill, the Honcast staff. And as always, stay tuned to Honcast.com for much, much more coverage. A semifinal matchup coming next. Stay tuned.